Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's live in the Get Unstuck series with myself, Sarah Archer. If you haven't joined me before, then just so you know, I am a career and leadership coach, and I work with female leaders to create the kind of career success that's right for them without either having to sell out or burn out. So that's either through career advancement or supporting them with leadership challenges in their leadership role. And I created the Get Unstuck series because I know how hard it is to focus on your career while you're also delivering a big job. And so I wanted to create a little bit of space, a little oasis in your week when you could have just 15 minutes to think about something career related to help you get motivated to make changes in your career, to inspire you to do things differently, to help solve some of those career problems that you might be having, or whatever it might be. So there's a whole variety of topics that I've covered. They're all on my LinkedIn profile in the events section. So if you've missed something or you want to check out what's available, please do have a look there. They're also available on my YouTube channel, Career Tree Coaching. So there's definitely something for everybody, and they're always practical. There's always something you're going to take away from the live that you could implement straight away. So let's dive into today's topic. Today's topic is how to fast track your promotion. And I chose this topic because it's definitely something that has been on some of my clients' minds recently that I've been working with. And I just thought it would be useful just to have a bit of a think about how you could intentionally move your career forward in the way that you want to. So, how might you know that you're ready for promotion for that next leadership role? Well, it could be that you are seeing your peers move past you, so that they're getting promotion. That could be your peers in the organisation, or it might be people that you've worked with over the years in other organisations that just seem to be kind of flying past you and you're sort of stuck where you are. So that could be something that's going on for you, or it might be that you are feeling bored and you know that you're sort of plateauing and maybe you're ready for a new challenge, something that's going to stretch you more. It could also be that you're bumping up against your boss. So you might be thinking, yeah, I wouldn't have done that like that, or I'd have approached that differently, or I could have done that better. That's giving you information that maybe you're ready to take on that next level role. Or maybe you're being asked to step up or act up on a regular basis. And this could be something that maybe you're not getting fully recognized for, but you're definitely taking on more responsibility. Or maybe you find yourself thinking about organizational challenges. So rather than just kind of thinking about the problems in your own department or team, you're starting to think about kind of the wider picture, the bigger picture, and wanting to kind of be involved in solving some of those bigger, more organizational challenges. Or it could be something else, but you definitely will know when you're starting to think, I've got that itch, I think I need to be, taking on something a bit more challenging. But you might experience that sense of self-doubt. Am I really ready for this? Could I do it? Could I do the sort of next level strategic piece? Is often something that comes up for my clients. Am I strategic enough? Could I do that? What is strategy anyway? Or, the question around, is it right for me? Because sometimes we feel like we should go for that next level role, but actually we need to be asking ourselves, is it really what I want? And I was working with a client last year who her director was leaving and she was being encouraged to go for that next level director role, and it would have been an easy move for her into it. Her boss and her boss's boss were definitely kind of encouraging her to go for it, but when we worked through it together, what she realized was actually, although she was interested in being a director, she didn't want to be a director in that organization because of the leadership culture, the impact on work-life balance in terms of the expectations. And so she then made a conscious decision that she was going to move into that role when she was ready and finding the right organization outside of her current existing organization. So it is good just to be questioning yourself about moving to that next level. going for that promotion, because you do want to check it that it's what you really want. And so it's kind of good to go back to your why, your values, and what drives you, what motivates you. But if you are experiencing that sort of self-doubt, you do want to engage your inner coach and just remind yourself of all the reasons why you are ready for it, because it's so easy for us to talk ourselves out of it. And particularly my female clients tend to be more prone to thinking, I just need to get something else, some more experience, some more knowledge, something that's going to, move me to that next level, when actually they're really ready for it now. So don't let yourself, if you are wanting to go for it, talk yourself out of it. So what I want to take you through today is around, I think it's seven or eight sort of things you can be thinking about to get yourself ready for fast tracking that promotion. And we want to be thinking about within the next 3 to 6 months that we are moving the dial on that promotion opportunity. And we can be thinking internally for promotion, but we can also be thinking externally in terms of getting up to that next level as well, if there's no room to move in your current organization, which sometimes can happen if it's a very flat structure, or people tend to stay in their roles. But the first thing I want to say to you is you have to be intentional about it. So it would be lovely if we were still in a world where people were just recognized for their contribution and automatically promoted. But we do have to be intentional about making it happen for us. Everybody is so busy. Your boss, even the best bosses in the world, are not necessarily going to be thinking about you and your wants, your promotional needs. So you do have to be taking matters into your own hands and being proactive at creating the right environment and how you're going to operate in it for yourself. So the first thing I would say to do is do a gap analysis. So this would be a gap analysis around that next level role. What does it require? And what are my gaps that I might have? There might not be any, but if there are any gaps, how could I plug them in the next 3 to 6 months? Okay, so keeping that time frame in focus, how could I get what I need in that time frame to plug that potential gap? And that's looking at kind of the job requirements. But there's also a gap analysis around thinking about your visibility. Am I visible in the organization? What's my reputation? Am I seen as somebody who delivers? Am I seen as somebody who's proactive? Am I seen as somebody who's a problem solver? And what is my leadership brand? So what am I promoting in terms of my unique selling points that makes me a great leader that they will want to have at that next level leadership? And if you're not sure about the answers to some of those questions, you could obviously work with a coach to help you understand internally, okay, what is going on? What am I projecting out there to the world? Or you could ask for people to give you feedback. You could ask trusted people to tell you what they see as your strengths, what they see as what you're good at, that can feed into you then developing an understanding of what your brand might be, what your reputation might be in the business, and how visible you are. I did this recently with a client in my Ambition Plan program, where we looked at her brand components, her leadership brand. And it was a real light bulb moment for her, because she was able to see that one of her real strengths was in her operational efficiency. So really, really drilling down into how to make things, to improve things, to make them better, to increase the operational impact. And previously, she'd kind of felt this was not a strength for her, that actually she was maybe a bit of a blocker, because she was always challenging her peers around this, and obviously they weren't always responsive to it. But when we looked at it in terms of what she added value to the business, she could see it was a real strength, and it kind of transformed then how she thought about herself as a leader, because she identified that key brand component. So it can be transformative just doing that piece of work. Then what we want to do, having done that gap analysis, is start scanning for opportunities. So opportunities for you to lead and to stretch yourself and to show that you are already operating at that next level. So obviously that's easier if you are being asked to act up, or to take on more responsibility. But if you're not, then you have to look for those opportunities and, put your hand up to say, I'd like to do that. I'd like to take that on board. So that could be about, particularly around strategy, looking for opportunities where you can be more strategic, where you can take on maybe developing a new strategy around a particular client group, or it might be about solving a particular problem from a strategic point of view. Or it could be about taking on a scary project. Now, what I see sometimes with my clients is that they won't kind of volunteer for things if they don't necessarily feel right. They might think, "Oh, I'm not really ready for that yet. I can't put my hand up and say I'll lead that." But actually, by stepping up, putting yourself out of your comfort zone, you are you're going to be ready, and you're going to be able to do it, even if it feels scary, because you know deep down that you have that capability and you could step up and do it. So it's looking for sometimes those scary projects and going, yes, I'm going to do that because it's going to be a great platform for me. It's going to give me opportunities to showcase what I'm capable of, my strategic leadership ability, and also create visibility within the organization for other people to see what I'm capable of. So start scanning for those opportunities. Then sort of building on the brand bit is kind of just really increasing that self-awareness piece and really understanding what your strengths are and the value that you are adding to the business, because that's going to be important in terms of articulating to people what you're doing and how you're doing it. So doing that inner work around, okay, what are my key strengths aligned to my leadership brand? What's the real value that I bring to the business aligned to my leadership brand? And then the fourth area is to be proactive. So to really kind of be seen as a problem solver in the business, not just problems in your sphere, but also wider projects, wider problems, being a voice in different meetings that could be around solving particular problems or encouraging people to have discussions around how to solve problems, but also being seen as a positive influence in the business as well. That if people start to get sucked into kind of a bit of a moan fest about something, that you are the one that might be helping people lift themselves out of that and think positively. So just being proactive and being able to be seen as a proactive force in the organization. The fifth area is to build relationships and be really intentional about building relationships. So obviously, the first relationship that's going to be really key is the one that you have with your boss. So hopefully you will have built a positive relationship with them through the work that you've done, and then you're ready to have that career conversation with them about what you are looking for, so that they really know that in the next 3 to 6 months, you are looking for a promotional opportunity. Because they obviously are going to be a champion for you, a cheerleader for you. They're going to be involved in the decision around those promotion conversations. So they need to know what you're looking for, and they can be really helpful at some of those areas I've just mentioned around gap analysis, your brand, your visibility, opportunities for you to lead and to stretch. If, though, you can't have that kind of conversation with your boss for whatever reason, you don't have a great relationship with them, then it might be proactively looking for a mentor in the organization. So someone in the senior leadership team who can be a mentor, who can also then be a champion for you, and who can be instrumental in those conversations, and that you can then have that relationship with them around, this is what I'm looking for, can you see ways that I can enhance my leadership brand? Can you give me a steer on perhaps where I need to be more visible? So you can have those conversations with a mentor if you can't have them with your boss. And you may choose to find a mentor in the organization anyway, because it can be really helpful in your career advancement. But obviously, you also want to be intentional about building your relationships with your manager's manager and with other key people in the organization. So they could be decision makers around promotions, but they could also just be people who will feed in and talk about you in terms of, oh yeah, that person was really helpful on this particular project, and they really brought a proactive or a positive or a strategic view to that piece of work that we were doing. So just being really clear about who you want to develop relationships with. And obviously, I understand this takes time and you've got a busy job, but it is about, being strategic about who are the 3 key relationships I need to build in this period of time when I'm looking to enhance my promotional prospects. Then the 6th point is just to get comfortable with self-promotion, because you need to be an advocate for yourself and you need to be able to talk about your achievements in a way that enables people to really understand what you're doing and how you're doing it. So there's a temptation when your boss or your boss's boss says, oh, how are things going? You might go, yeah, really great. I nailed that project with that client. Okay, so you're telling them that you've had a success. But if your peer is saying to them when they ask the same question, oh yeah, I nailed that problem with a client, and the way I went about it was to do X, Y, and Z, and it was quite challenging because of ABC, and there was an extra layer of complexity because of DEF, then they're getting this really full picture of how your peer is managing challenge, managing complexity, and really being a problem solver within the organization and adding value. But if you've just said, well, I just nailed that problem with the client, they might be thinking, oh, well, yeah, you just had an easy time of it. You just nailed that problem. So it's really thinking about, how do I let them know, actually what I've been having to face that shows how much value I bring to the business. Then the 7th point is to do your research. So you do want to be thinking, okay, outside of the organization, what's my value? So within the industry that I work in, where am I positioned in terms of my job? What's the market like around recruitment out there? What's my salary benchmarking? And what do I want to be thinking about? So you're ready for that promotional conversation around what you want, and also knowing if you don't get it in your organization, what the options are for you then outside of the organization. And my final point for you is to think about your timings, because obviously we're talking about a 3 to 6 month window to get you ready and positioning and fast tracking your promotion. But it's also looking for potential opportunities. So, for example, if you've just delivered a really great project, then obviously you can capitalize on that. It's a great time to be having a conversation about promotion. Or if you've had an amazing piece of client feedback, or you've landed a big client, or there's something really positive that you've achieved in the business, then you do want to be capitalizing on that. So the business then thinks, we don't want to lose you because you're doing all this great work. But also thinking about what's happening in the business, so if it's very buoyant, or they've just had a big success, they're going to be more open to having those promotional conversations. Obviously, if there's contraction going on, then it might be not such a great time to be having those promotional conversations. But again, if you've got a good relationship with your boss, you can get a steer from them, because obviously in contraction, they also don't want to lose good people because they're key to business growth. So I hope that's been food for thought about how you might want to fast track your promotional prospects. This is something I do a lot of work with clients. So if it's something you want some help with, please do get in touch. Send me a message, DM me. We can have a conversation about it. But I really hope that you take some of these areas on board and you can create some space for yourself to be thinking intentionally about what you need to do to fast track your promotion. And if it happens in the next 3 to 6 months, you've got to let me know. So send me a message, let me know what happened and how you did it. And I will be not running a session next week because I am not working next week. I am on holiday. So I will be back the last Wednesday in August for the next live session, and it will be advertised as always on LinkedIn. So please join me then, and have a great week and enjoy the resurgent sunshine that we're getting for the end of August. So I look forward to seeing you then.